Why does this thing called Explaining the Nose Ring Theory have 1.1 million views? Okay. All right, well, let's get into it.
Today that I think you're going to find interesting. Nose ring theory. And
Yeah.
I just know that...
By the way, ladies, nobody likes these. Absolutely nobody likes these. It's the same thing with buccal fat removal on your face. Nobody likes this shit.
When I say that, half of you are going to be confused, and the other half of you somehow know exactly what I'm talking about, even if you've never heard of it before.
Okay.
I will explain everything I've learned about this theory, show you some examples, and then give you my 2 cents on this whole thing. So to take you on the journey that I went down to get here, I'll show you the video that I first saw that introduced me to this whole thing.
So I'm 24 years old, and I've been trying my hand at dating men.
Like, what the fuck are you even doing with your life when you end up looking like an Invader Zim character? Like, why are we trying to look like these inhuman fucking aliens? Like what is this shit? Like, eyes to make you look like a cat, a nose ring to make you look like a retard, shaved eyebrows so you look like an alien. Like, what is this shit, man?
Specifically for probably about 5-6 years now.
Oh my God, and she has fangs, or these are like some type of piercing. Who likes this?
Serious way. I'm single at the moment. My boyfriend and I just broke up recently.
And let me guess, you never met your father.
And I have probably dated about like 4 to 5 men, seriously.
In the past week?
Running into the same issues every single time I date a man, and I've been trying to like really get to the root of...
You have the wrong type. Trust me, I also had the wrong type for several years of my life. I always thought, you know, there's these women and they have all these issues, but I'm a pretty good guy. I'll fix them. Nope. Hey, sorry guys. You need someone who can fix themselves. It is not your responsibility to make these people complete. If they can't fix themselves, just like the factories, you need to throw that into the garbage bin for them to be reformed themselves by China, not you. That is not your job to fix this shit.
What it is. And now I know what you're thinking. You probably...
You wouldn't buy faulty hardware. You shouldn't date a faulty girlfriend. And ladies, you shouldn't date a faulty man as well.
Have a type. I do not have a type. These men don't know each other. They're not friends. They're not from the same area. They don't look alike. I really do not have a type. The only thing that these men have in common is that they are men. I really have been reflecting a lot and trying to figure out what like...
Are you going to call all men pigs?
The root of all these issues is... Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect, but I'm not the reason that any of these relationships ended. One of the main issues that I've come to recognize is that I don't think men are really socialized to know what it means to truly love someone. Like,
I don't think men are socialized. She's talking about men like they're fucking dogs.
Love their partner and care for their partner.
The problem isn't me, guys. It's all men. Men aren't socialized to know what love is. Good Lord, girl. Tell me you're on Twitter for 6 hours a day without telling me you're on Twitter for 6 hours a day.
Obviously, I'm not saying this is all men, but I think it's just not normalized for them to like, I don't know, just like, I guess I don't know how to phrase it. What I'm saying, for example,
if you don't know how to phrase it, it's probably because you make no fucking sense.
Is that every single one of these men individually has looked me in my eyes and told me that I am the love of their life, I'm the most important person in their life, that they would take a bullet for me.
No, it's because they want to blow their load on your face for like one night and then they're trying to dip. Because you look like the type of woman you fuck one time because you're morbidly curious and then you never talk to again because we know your ass is crazy.
And every single one of them has treated me horribly, okay? I don't know about you, but when I tell somebody they're the love of my life and that they're the person I care about the most, I show it. I'm treating them accordingly. Part of it that really trips me up is that they believe it. They actually believe in their heart that I'm the love of their life and I'm the person they care about the most. I start calling it out. I would be like, you do not love me and you do not care about me. Like, point blank, period. Otherwise, you wouldn't be treating me badly. And they will argue and they get genuinely, offended. They get offended. I honestly pity.
Well, it's because you're saying something offensive. Like, if you say all these crazy-ass things, but you don't say X, Y, and Z, well, then obviously they're going to have an emotional reaction.
Them because I don't think they're socialized to know what that means. And, like, I don't know how to get it across in a meaningful way to them. Like, they just don't listen. And I'll be like, okay, you wouldn't have done this bad thing to me if you actually loved me in the way that you say you do. Like, that is not...
Give a fucking example. Stop speaking in vagues to farm. Yes, queen. Fuck men. Yes. Give a specific example. By the way, I can tell your parents didn't properly socialize you either, because I don't know where the fuck you thought it was a good idea to look like this, but it was not Earth.
What love is.
Like,
That's
this
not
bitch looks more like Pain from Naruto than any human on Earth.
what love is. When you love someone, you don't do things to intentionally or even unintentionally hurt them. Why?
If you love someone, you'll never do unintentionally anything to hurt them. Brother. So if you love someone, you treat them perfectly at all times. Here's the reality, okay? When you love someone, the only difference between liking someone and loving someone is the amount of work you put into that person. Love is work. A relationship is work. A marriage is work. Now, eventually, there might come a time where you say, it ain't worth the work. And that's when you give up. Because, I'm sorry, there are some projects, it doesn't matter how much work you put into it. If the soil is barren, you will not be able to grow a crop. Doesn't matter how much time, love, and care you get in, eventually you got to realize this is not worth that soil. This is not worth that plot of land, right? But love is work. Sometimes you're going to get upset with each other. Sometimes you're going to hurt one another. Sometimes you're going to do bad things, but it's not your intention, right? Unintentionally, you will hurt them. Now, if you are intentionally hurting someone you love, that's the problem. But absolutely, you will unintentionally hurt your partner, honestly, at least once a month, especially when you're first getting to know each other, because you don't know each other's boundaries until it's been crossed. You have to learn these things about each other. But then once you have that conversation about what you're willing to or willing to not put up with, then you don't cross it again, because it is about intention. And you should never hold it against someone when they do hurt you unintentionally, because that's not what they meant to do.
Why is that considered love to you? I'm just like, I don't know where it's coming from. I honestly pity them, because that has to be awful, but like, I can't handle it anymore, dude.
So in this video,
Did you notice how she didn't say a single specific thing and just talked in vague terminology the entire time? That way other women can self-insert their own issues they had with other men and assume that they were talking about those issues. She did not say a single specific. They were really mean to me. They hurt me. How? I don't know. Like, bitch, say what they did. The reason why you're not saying what they did is because you know that shit was not that deep.
girl is describing her troubles with finding a good man. She insists that she doesn't have a type, that none of these men really have anything in common, but for some reason in the end they always end up treating her horribly. And this led many in the comments to speculate that it must—
And I bet you she was a perfect little angel.
Must be something about her that is the common denominator. And unfortunately, since it's such a short TikTok video and we don't really get much insight onto greater parts of her personality, and she's not very open about what her most major flaws are to figure out why she's attracting such mean men or why her relationships—
I absolutely know why. I've been in 7 relationships. 2 of them have ended poorly. And I understand why that was. Is because when I grew up, I had a type for normal, nice girls. I did. I was like, oh, as long as they're nice to me, that's fine. And so I was like, okay, this is good. But somewhere along the line where I watched too much Total Drama Island, too much fucking Raven from Teen Titans, I got brainwashed into liking women with mental illnesses. I got way too brainwashed on liking women with daddy issues. I got way too into this idea of scene girls and emo girls. And that's where everything went wrong. And now I'm just like, you know what? Hey, the normal girls were great. Let's go back to that, because I just want someone to be nice to me. It was my fault for going after the wrong women 100%. Okay? It was my fault. Okay? It was too much. But in the anime, they have these blue hairs, the purple hairs, the green hairs. They're like, oh, dude, I need a chick with that. No, I just need a nice girl who just is nice to me, right? That's all I want. Just someone who is nice. It doesn't matter how good they look if they make you fucking miserable. I promise you it's not that hard to masturbate. All right, cool, let's keep going.
Are always driven to turmoil, people began to theorize, because it's one of the most noticeable things about her, that it could potentially have to do with the amount of piercings she has.
Yep.
In fact, these two comments right next to each other say, the piercing theory is so true,
Oh, yeah.
with over 700 likes.
Yep.
And again, don't know, don't care, nose ring theory, with
Yep.
over 1,200 likes. So you might be wondering, like I did, what about having a bunch of metal in your face would cause someone to treat you poorly? I mean, sure, the style isn't everyone's type, but
Maybe their fists were just magnetic.
these men were clearly
Sorry. That was a joke, guys. Just a joke.
attracted enough to her to
All
date
jokes,
her.
guys.
So then what is it that's causing the relationships to not go well?
Yep,
So
yep.
I decided to look into what these men were referencing when they talked about the piercing theory or the nose ring theory.
Okay.
And this was the top video I found.
Have y'all ever heard of the septum piercing theory?
Now, guys, just looking at this woman, is a single person here thinking, wow, that makes them look so good? No, bro. They look fucking stupid.
If you have a septum piercing, you may not want
Holy fuck, you can fly a plane through that gap in those teeth.
to look it up. But I'm always the last person to hear about shit. So, this is common knowledge. It's dead ass. It's actually dead ass. Because it says that every person that has a septum piercing makes their trauma their entire personality.
Oh, holy shit. Holy shit. It is so true, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what? It's that and women who have intentionally dyed their hair to black. Right? Where dark brown wasn't enough. No, they needed black. They needed black hair. They needed black hair. Every single one, man. Holy shit.
And she agrees?
Yep.
It's dead ass.
Like I said, dead ass.
Yep.
Damn.
Bro, I'll be real, man. There are so many people who want to be victims. It's insane, which is awful because then it actually prevents real victims from actually getting any sympathy.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Or maybe I should say straight from the bull's mouth. You know,
because they have nose.
You get it.
I get it.
And if
Great
even the
joke.
person with the nose ring is saying it's true,
Yep.
I mean, there's got to be something there. And this
Sure.
is just even more hilarious when we take that theory and then reference back to the first video where the girl was making her relationship
This is Boxy in the bad ending timeline.
trauma her entire personality. Okay, that might have been a
Shoe on head is Boxy in the true ending.
little reductive. After all, it was just one video. Surely her entire profile isn't like that.
Yo, you guys never told me how cool it is to have a dad. Like, this is a secret that's been kept from me, okay?
She doesn't know her dad. Man, what a shock.
I grew up with 3 moms. My mommy issues are off the charts.
Okay, sure. I mean, so maybe she doesn't have a dad and has a ton of self-proclaimed
Oh my
mommy
God.
issues, but
Oh
that
my
doesn't mean
God.
trauma's her entire personality.
I have psoriasis.
Do you guys understand why women who don't have fathers have really big issues? Do you guys understand why that is? Because they have no father. Do you understand why that's a problem? Because women who don't have a father figure, it's like myself. I'm looking for a mother figure, right? I'm just going to be completely honest. I've had not one, not two, but probably like now 3 women who I've called my mom because I didn't really know my mom too much, right? Like with my parents, you know, I separated from them around, well, I moved out from my mom's house from like 3rd grade, and I haven't really talked to her much since. The problem is that women who are looking for father figures, they look for a father figure in their partner, which leads them to being, you know, taken advantage of because they're going to consider what their partner says as law because they want that feeling of a adult in their life. They want that idea of a an authority figure of the opposite gender in their life. And so they end up just being told everything they need to do by some random person who doesn't really have their best interest in mind. And it leads them down a slippery slope because you do need to have a complete human being, a functioning mom and a functioning dad for the majority of the cases. It's very important to have both. Because your mother is there to teach you empathy, and your father is there to teach you law and order.
Not like a
Of the
little
land.
psoriasis, like all over my entire body. When I tell you, my whole body looks like this.
Okay, so she has a bit of medical trauma too, but I mean, there's more to her.
Nothing normal can ever happen to me. I think I attract chaos.
Okay, so attracting chaos, it might be a little red flag, but I mean, there's gotta be something normal here.
Not to be a man hater or anything. Actually, no, fully to be a man hater.
Why the fuck are her eyes the Sharingan?
Fully to be a man hater.
Oh, okay, I guess she also just doesn't like men. I mean, you could have brought that up when you were theorizing on why your relationships with men might be going poorly. I'm starting to connect the dots. Now, when I first started looking into nose ring theory, I didn't think that I would take it seriously
$20 she has an OnlyFans.
at all. I thought it would just be a good laugh. But the more I looked into it, the more I think that it might actually hold some weight, because I did find
Isn't your father an offender, though? Men teach you lawfulness? I mean, to be fair, yeah, my dad absolutely is a sex offender. But once again, like I've said multiple times, I wasn't particularly raised by my dad at all. We didn't really have that much contact at all. I was majorly raised by my friends' parents. I was always over at my friends' houses, like my best friend Sean, my best friend Trevor, my best friend Edric. And then I moved out very, very, very early, and I went up to Canada by myself. So, to be honest, I've had no experience with either of my parents. I'll say the person I always joke about since I was a kid, I was never raised by my parents. I was raised by the Deku Tree and Professor Oak, because I was like, or like Arthas, or like Anduin in fucking World of Warcraft. All my time was in MMOs, playing video games. I was always outside the house in my friend's house, or I was just on the computer playing shit. But I pretty much had no parental guidance growing up, and that's why I have the mark of sacrifice on my fucking right trapezius, to be honest.
quite a number of studies that have strong correlations between individuals with a lot of piercings and tattoos and how they are perceived and who they attract. This study seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos
I'm gonna say Varian,
score
yeah.
significantly higher than those without for sensation-seeking and risk-taking behaviors. This other study that I found seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos, specifically women, scored significantly higher for extroversion and assertiveness, meaning they are more aggressive socially. This study that I found in Psychology Today examines how people with tattoos and piercings
Bro, even if you were raised by your dad, that's not who you are at the end of the day. You know what people think? People think that it's like, so, John, this is how you sexually assault a woman. Now, come on. I brought 3 of my hostages from my basement up to the living room, and I'm going to teach you what the government doesn't want you to know. It's like, what the fuck? Dude, all my dad did was sit on the elliptical trainer and drink Jack and Coke all day. That's all I did.
are perceived, and the most popular finding was that they are perceived to be more sexually promiscuous, and that they tend to attract people who are looking for more casual relationships than serious ones. And many other studies seem to point to people with piercings and tattoos having higher correlations with impulsivity and more experience with trauma and adversity. This study from BMC Psychology seemed to find a strong correlation between body modifications and people who experienced childhood abuse and neglect.
Makes sense
and this
to me.
one really stood out to me. This one found a notable prevalence of individuals with a high number of body modifications and borderline personality disorder. Now, this is not to say that
Makes sense to
individuals
me.
with piercings and tattoos are all degenerate problem children.
Wait, are you telling me that a woman with 18 piercings in her face might have a mental illness? No. No, there's no way. Nah, the odds of that gotta be so low.
And undeserving of love. I myself have a belly button piercing and an entire side piece, and I find myself to be pretty well adjusted and have had a lot of success in my relationships. But it does beg the question, could there be any legitimacy to the nose ring theory, or is it mostly just something that jerks shout at people they disagree with online when they happen to have a nose ring? My ultimate conclusion? Probably both. Obviously, even with all of these studies and research papers, you're never going to be able to make a correct, sweeping blanket generalization about every one kind
Sure.
of person who
Of
looks a
course.
certain way.
Of
In
course.
the case of the first video we watched, where the girl is describing
Besides white people, they're all pigs.
her issues with relationships with men, we know that people did at least initially find her very attractive.
And black people. They're all great.
as she even cites at the end of the video that I cut off that both men and women have described completely falling in love with her. And when I first listened to her story, I wasn't even making any judgments about her physical appearance. I was truly waiting for the other shoe to drop of when she was going to describe some consistent patterns of behavior that might lead to all of this correlation. In her case, I definitely think that being a vocal man-hater was probably the linchpin in the disruption in her relationships with men, but certainly not all women with piercings and tattoos feel that way. In fact, here are some examples of super pierced and tattooed girls in very happy relationships with men.
I give it 3 months.
What is this, please?
Also, it's so funny how they always go for the nerdy gamer guys. But this is what makes the nose ring
It's because the nerdy gamer guys are used to playing games with a bunch of aliens in them, and they're used to how they look because the fucking chicks look like aliens now.
theory so complex, because if the first video were to be enough to prove that it's accurate, then all of these other videos should be enough to disprove it, right? At the end of the day, the nose ring theory is just that, a theory, an idea worth discussing. Is it true that people with a lot of tattoos and piercings tend to be a bit more rebellious, chaotic, and traumatized? Yeah, probably, but does it make them inherently undateable?
Yes.
No. Some of them are. Some of them are absolutely undateable, but not all of them. As with most things, it's a case-by-case scenario, and it's always more important to pay attention to how a person behaves or what they believe in than it is to try and find secret clues in how they look or dress. Anyway, that has been my analysis on nose ring theory. If you liked my coverage, please drop a like on the video, consider subscribing. We are so close to the big 500,000, the big 500,000 subscribers, and drop any comments that you have on the subject down below, because that also helps boost me in the algorithm and grow my channel. And if you want even more from me than you can find here, consider joining my Patreon.
Dude, I think this video was fucking awesome. The Dadvocate, great channel, and thank you so much, chat, for linking me that video. That was amazing, guys. Don't date women with nose rings. It's really that easy.